being human with you. No evil, you need to know evil to truth seek. Unbelief we must reconcile, see, hear and speak. No greater cause than to let the secret of love's light leak. Unpause no more, open the truth and cry out, see, hear and speak. No blind light to lose your way, no deaf ear to truth today. No voiceless heart, let me hear you say, see, hear and speak. Hello there, welcome to episode 9 of Being Human with You, specifically, not exclusively, because there is more to share as well, past, present and future, but in its fullest sense, Being Human with You, episode 9. Now, normally I've been sharing the podcasts every Monday. We're Wednesday, just in case you hadn't already worked that one out. And there's a reason behind this, because I'm bringing a couple of things together. So whether or not you're going to be joining live, I'm going to be here probably about 45 minutes maximum. Make a comment as you join. Let me know how you are feeling at the moment as a human being. What's life like for you? Share what you want to share. Also, perhaps you might want to make a comment about perfection. What does perfection mean? What is perfection? Perhaps you might want to make a comment about past, present, and future. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about that and using my own personal experience, things that I've arrived at, which is one of the reasons why I'm sharing this on a Wednesday, that are representative of what we aim for at times in life, what we want to achieve, the things we want to do, versus the actual outcomes. Now, that's not framed in disappointment. I also want to say from the outset, whether you're live, whether you're replay, none of this, I'm not looking for pity, I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm just going to share a journey, an experience, and a change in plans to illustrate how we can actually gain at times from not completing what we wanted to, from things not being perfect. So, the Being Human with You podcast, that's now been 9 episodes. This is the 9th episode. But it also runs concurrently with another series. If you're on the YouTube channel now, or if you're in Facebook, go to the YouTube channel because there's more there. And there is a series which is called Past, Present and Future. So far, we've had 5 parts, 5 episodes. This year, 2026, I'm traveling across the 12 months to 12 significant places in my life. And I begin January. I went to Stevenage, my place of birth. February, I went to Felixstowe, where the family moved from Stevenage. March, I went to High Wycombe, very, very emotional episode, talking about the doorstep, where I said goodbye to my dad. Never saw him again. April, meeting Kimmy, incredible supporter of the creative purpose that I'm fulfilling. I did a performance at a pub that I frequented, not just frequented, but performed at in the 80s. Kimmy was there. And it was amazing, an amazing evening, back to the 80s. May was High Wycombe. That was quite deep, emotional. And June, the plan was to go back to the Isle of Lewis. Now, anybody who knows the Isle of Lewis, this is no complaint. It's an incredible place. I lived there for a couple of years. It is not the easiest place on planet Earth to get to because it's so remote. Flying in, getting a plane in, it's pretty expensive. I think I'm right in saying there's only one ferry a day. So it's not like somewhere that you'd go where you know you're going to have plenty of opportunity of transportation. Hundreds of miles away, quite expensive, very remote. Well, I've got to a point where over the last few weeks, months, I've been trying to work out how am I going to do this? And it's just not possible. I'm not going to be able to go all the way across to the island. But what I am doing is not even meeting it halfway. I'm going into the Highlands and I'll be sharing my experiences of the first time I ever drove through the Highlands, going to the Isle of Lewis and the Isle of Lewis. So there's an example. At times we can look at the destination, the ultimate place that we reach, as being perfection. Those that I've told privately have said to me, well, isn't that, that's a bit disappointing. Are you disappointed? That's a shame. And yes, it is. But I must say, once I got to the decision where I thought this is just a step too far, I'm not going to be able to do this for a number of reasons: time, finance, those two really. I've got nothing else to add to that. And it feels like a piece is missing, but also at the same time, that's sometimes what striving for perfection can feel like. It's not the destination, it's the journey. So I want to share that as a message from a personal point of view. This chapters of 12 places, 12 months, rather than it being, I can't go to the Isle of Lewis. I can get pretty close, and getting pretty close is perfect. Can you see where I'm coming from? I thought long and hard about it, but just thought there's other factors. I'm doing a lot of online, none of this pity, none of this is sympathy. A lot of online secular work at the moment, recording several songs for the end of year project, working on the book with a publisher, end of year project behind the scenes. Within that too, the Being Human with You podcast, it feels like there's lots of announcements of stuff not happening. That's not what it is. We'll talk a little bit more generally in a moment. I've now decided with the podcast, we're going to have one episode a week. So rather than Being Human with You podcast every Monday and then the Friday reflections, it's going to be the Being Human with You podcast. Why would I share that publicly? Again, some people have said, you're doing what you're doing. Sort of, how do you do it with perhaps not as much support, interest, likes, comments as you would like? How do you keep going? Because this is more than me, and the purpose is more than me. The podcast is called Being Human with You, so it's more than me. So I'm going to keep going 100%. So just in case, whether anybody's here live or catching up and replay, think the things that I've just shared says that I'm coming to a conclusion, that, he's putting things down, he's dropping things a little bit. Not at all. Not at all. It's finding ways of completing what it is we set out to. And I'm using my experience live, as I'm doing now, Facebook, YouTube, drop a comment, to talk about perfection. Because what is it? Is perfection something that is prescribed to us? If every day, whatever social media platform it is, we're presented with images, with ideals, ideology of what perfect is. Perfect is what you want it to be. My feeling of perfect is completeness. So this 12-month journey, I'm not going to the Isle of Lewis. Does that mean the journey's not complete? Not at all. As a couple of other friends have said recently, well, you'll be able to go there sometime in the future. And I'm thinking, yeah, absolutely. Then make more of a thing of it. But I've travelled through the Highlands to get to the Isle of Lewis. Particularly, I'm going to attempt to, from where I'm staying, get to Loch Ness. And I'm going to be sharing a really, really eerie experience that I experienced at Loch Ness. When you become fully aware of the incredible nature of nature, the incredible energy that surrounds all of us, that's perfection. There's so much, isn't there? So much that we have. So to measure it by what we don't have, there's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of measurement of things being imperfect. I don't have this, I don't have that, I can't do this, I can't do that. I've done it. None of this, by the way, is criticizing. I'm talking openly, honestly. I'm expressing from me. I'm not telling you how to feel. I'm saying I've experienced things in life. I'm bringing them to our table. So it's all about being human together. Perfection. It is a completeness. So within something, how do you feel complete? How do you measure completeness? If you're doing something, you might have a project, you might have it could be work, it could be personal, it could be family. You have something that you're looking to do, to achieve. Maybe, perhaps you don't fully achieve the destination goal that you have. Would you then say that possibly you've not reached perfection? Perfection is missing. It's missing something. Sometimes that can create even more perfection because we then realize, we discover, we learn. I don't have everything. There's something missing. That's wonderful to know that. And I know there are levels and degrees, and I'm not talking, pain's good, being without is good, having a lack is good. It depends on what we do with it. But the advantage is what we do with it. Whether that's an abundance or a lack, a perceived lack. But there is always completeness. There's always something perfect in our experiences. Now, some of that takes longer. I've shared this before because I would totally understand the comment, the thought. If somebody said, so what you're saying is pain is good. No, it's not. It's painful, of course. But ultimately, once we actually have reconciled, not healed, I'm not going to say healed, once we've recognized and reconciled the pain, our pain, somebody else hasn't told us this is the time scale, but we've come to terms in our own terms, not as in we've forgiven, we've surrendered, we've let go, but we've arrived at a point where we're more at peace with whatever the thing is. Then it takes a different turn because we then choose what we do with it rather than somebody else telling us. That for me is a form of perfection, a completeness. So in this recent experience that I'm having, I'm not able to go the full distance. There it is, to the full destination. I'm not able to get to Ullapool to then get the however long the ferry is across. The logistics of it, it's possible, of course. All things are possible. It's fractionally affordable, but just a combination of things within the context of everything else. Everything else. It just feels a step too far. Now, I don't feel in any way at all as I'm sharing that with you a disappointment, a lack. Um, if anybody reflected on that and thought, yeah, I've not fully fulfilled the task that I set, an idea, Michelle had, amazing idea. I've not fulfilled it fully, but I have. I have to the best of the capacity that I currently can. And what we'll find is when I share around the Highlands, so close to the Isle of Lewis, I know there'll be memories that come back. And I'll be sharing some of the experiences from the island. Because these parts of life, past, present, future, they coexist. I think that's the first time I've said that. They coexist. They're living together. They're actually, there's three of them, so that's slightly awkward. But there's definitely, they're a family. They're a family. There you go. They're a family. That familial family, familiar. The past is familiar. The present is familiar. The future is familiar. More unknown in the future, but we're bringing them together to coexist, to not just coexist, but to also have a relationship with each other. The past has a relationship with now. The past has a relationship with the future. Both the past and the present have a relationship with the future. They're all living together. That's a realization I've come to. And the more that we can accept that in our own way, I feel the greater success we can have. So that's what I'm sharing. So I decided to do this rather than pre-record, share it on a Monday. To share, there's a bit missing. There's a bit missing from the full series of past, present, and future. But I'm joining this podcast, Being Human with You, episode 9, with part 6 of past, present, and future. Am I going to play any music? No. No, I'm not. I'm not. I've just decided. There's tons of music out there. Where's that going to be going? So again, Ray behind the scenes, I've not been live in TikTok as much. Am I deciding that's it? I can't be bothered to do this online thing as much. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to do it anymore. No, no, I'm always going to be doing this because for me, the purpose of what I'm creating is to reach as many people as possible. If that isn't happening now, if I don't continue, there was an image, and I may possibly share this. If you go into Facebook particularly, of me, it's kind of stretching, reaching out, and I think that's a good description that we are. We're always reaching, striving to some degree, endeavouring. I like the word endeavouring, aiming. There's purpose, so it's less poverty mindset. I'm not clutching at numbers and concerning myself with likes and that type of thing. I'm not. Of course, it would be wonderful to have an influx of hundreds and thousands and millions of people. Is that not possible? Of course, it's possible because I'm doing what I'm doing, and there's millions, billions of people. And my message is simple and clear. I'm not going to be going down the road that I think is a trite, shite, popularist way of being, which is clickbait, that basically people are popularizing conflict, hatred, human against human. That works in the favor of those who are in positions of power. So I'm not going to share a lot of that, but I will share some of that. Because in between is our own sovereignty, our own power. our own choices over the experiences that we at times have actually had put upon us. They're not your fault. You don't have to take the blame for what happened. If there is a responsibility, you can still move forwards from that. It's very, very, the system is very quick to judge. And, people need, and I'm talking people, I'm not talking those who are in elite positions. I'm talking about us. We can grow. We can make the past into something better for us and for others. That's what I'm doing. It's not perfect. It's not as in I'm claiming to be a beacon of light, some messiah complex at all. But I won't not do what I'm doing. And I won't accept not just for me, but for you, for others. I won't minimize. I won't limit. I would never ever say to somebody, why are you doing what you're doing? You're wasting your time. I might help somebody to find a better way of doing it, and I would accept that myself. But why do I do what I do? Because that's why I'm here. Because it's the purpose that I feel is part of me being. It's not fulfilling my being because I just am anyway, but it is finding that place. And sometimes, of course, there was another image. I seem to be talking a lot about Facebook at the moment. I'm in TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, particularly the podcast is there. But another one, overturning stones. Turning over a new leaf is another one. It's just come to me. But, when you start picking stuff up and moving things, you discover things underneath. So the key thing is to keep doing something. And based on numbers, ultimately, I feel with the purpose I feel I'm fulfilling, things will happen. People will come along. Great. More comments, more response. Ultimately, more people connecting with a message of being human. You can have a belief. You can believe whatever you want. But who are you? What are you made of? What's the ingredients of us? We're not a political party or political belief system. We're not a religion. We might have a religion. We might have a political point of view. But ultimately, we're human. Piers Morgan makes a lot out of two people, generally, of opposing points of view. And it's popular because it's like a fight outside the pub or when you were at school. Two people having a fight and everybody cheering. I'm glad. I'm really, really glad I don't get it. That's not because there's any lack in me or, I've got some particular condition that I understand. I understand conflict. I understand hatred. But I think quite simply, which is what I've realized over time. And I'm not the only one. It's what John Lennon wrote. I'm not the only one. We are human. So focusing on that more, believe what you want to believe. If that conflicts with being human, then there is a problem. But it shouldn't supersede being human, which is a more broader, extended way of saying be kind. Because we have kindness, we have love, we have compassion. Yes, we have competitive spirit. Yes, we're tribal. Yes, but not to the detriment of ourselves and others. That's where dogma comes in, where it is people. You can have a debate, fine. Have a discussion, fine. Disagree, fine. But it seems really, really popular, people hating on each other. I can't remember her name. I'm going to be actually hoping to connect more. Um, Somebody who puts out social media posts that are very much aligned with being human, um, and without an emphasis on any description of color. And this person, I'm not going to even try and describe them, but it's so refreshing. I see a lot of that, interestingly, with particularly on Instagram for some reason. There's a lot of women talking about what men need, and are talking about it in a very healthy way. And as I watch it, I'm thinking, not not only some of it I like, some of it I don't, but I actually agree because I feel they're giving a perspective that is more human. Yeah, it's a little bit like, let's turn that one around. So we create, which exists, equality. If I started talking, negatively with other men about women, I don't see the point. Even though I've had negative experience and I know women have had negative experience with me. What's the point? Because we are then dividing the planet in two. Destructive. So constructive, creative, that's what's here. That's what's on offer. That's what's coming with a brand new podcast song. So we're going once a week in the future. Whether it's Monday or not, I don't know. It won't always be live. It will be pre-recorded every single month this year, because the longest journey would have been the Isle of Lewis. I'm not quite going to make it. I can't get across time, money. And time, if I explain it within the other things that I'm doing at the moment, that I've then got to get back to doing because I have plans for the end of the year. So this is where ultimately I see it as being, when we grow together and expand together within what we're doing here, what I'm sharing, then I know there will be others involved. And then, of course, the support will make that easy, because we always need other people for a purpose that is more than we are ourselves. So that's what I'm sharing. We'll carry on as we are. A podcast every week, being human with you. Music, moving a little bit more towards Bandcamp at the moment. So I'm not saying there won't be music. There already is. Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, YouTube. That's why I'm not going to share any music here, because it's everywhere. And I share that regularly. I prefer share to promote, because it's an interesting thing to think about promoting. Everybody's promoting. If we're sharing something about politics and religion, we're promoting. We're promoting an idea. If we're sharing something about not religion, evolution, science, we're promoting. Everybody's promoting. Everybody's influencing. Let's do the best we can as individuals to keep that within a human-centric way of being. It's not neutral as in it's meaningless, it's grey, it's undefinable. It's already definable. It's the most definable. It's the most definable. Because by essence, by nature, we are human. So it's ultimately definable. It's the absolute definement. Because everything is an ideology, a belief outside of being human. And I know people potentially more academically qualified than me. Be interesting to have a discussion with Jordan Peterson. I'm not a psychologist, but I'm definitely a human being, and I'm an experiencer. I've thought, read, I've communicated with other human beings to come to this conclusion. So rather than it being something separatist, this is even stronger. Because the belief is separate to us, it's always going to be separatist, and it's going to be extremely separatist if it's extreme. if it takes away being human, if it takes away humanity. There we are. So, a bit about perfection, a bit about the plans that I'm sharing. More is coming. And at the moment, I'm working on those things behind the scenes as we move towards the end of the year, not only at the end of the year, but as we move towards it, more will be shared. If you want to find music, particularly go to Bandcamp. When I've concluded this live, I will put in the comments Facebook for a short period of time, YouTube. I will put in the comments the Bandcamp link. 2 albums. I'm sharing a lot in TikTok at the moment, and I'm putting the albums next to each other. Released November last year, Inside of Me. It is a personal journey, but not only. There are a lot of the messages that I share that come from personal experience, but the messages will speak for you. Not all of them necessarily, but some of them, because people have said how much the songs from the album have spoken for them. The other album, which was released last month, on the 15th, I think it was, of May, Oversoul the Reform. That's moving more into society. I always say this, nothing to do with a political party, but it is touching upon aspects of social reform. So I'm going from album 1, Inside of Me. I've had music out for years, so you'll find tons of other stuff. So that's a bit personal. Album 2, Oversoul the Reform. Some of that's personal too, which is more reaching outside, external, society, us, humanity. So those are there. And go to Bandcamp, find them. Download, share, encourage others to listen. You don't have to like it. I'm not looking for people necessarily to like it. Listen, I would love to know what you think about the messages, particularly. Because what I am sharing, promoting, if you like, humanity. That's it. And I will continue to do that. That's what fuels me. And I'm not telling, I'm not prescribing, I'm not preaching. I really, really feel there needs to be more of that. I'm not criticizing. We're at a stage in history of humanity where it's got, in my opinion, worse. So decisions need to be made. Are we going to click on these clickbait things that are basically fueled by debating dogma? Or are we going to come into this place where we already are, as I said earlier, this family of past, present, and future, this family of being human? The more we do that, and I'm sure you already do, and I'm sure I already know because I experience it in my life, people around me, they do. The more we do that, then we can grow and expand together. And this is why platforms like this are so good. Because at times we can't always be there for everybody, but we can share content, we can share messages that amplify the nature of who we are. So it's been great to be with you. The music's out there. The past, present, and future series is happening. It's taking place. Not quite across to the island, but yeah, near enough. Other episodes are coming. The music's out there. It's everywhere. Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, YouTube, Bandcamp particularly, because there's going to be stuff there exclusively. So find Ray Coates, Raycoates. You probably know that already because you're here. Check out 2 albums there at the moment, and more is coming. I've been in the recording studio today. Make comments in conclusion, because that's the bit I really, really like. That's the interaction, that's the connection, that's being human together. On this thought of perfection, and on this thought as well of the family, the connection of past, present, future, the thought of, yes, we can have our own beliefs, but how can we amplify more being human? How can we do that? Take care. Really, really great to be with you. And I'll be sharing my journey. I'll be traveling tomorrow for a few days. I'm working in Morecambe, which is a few miles away from where I live in Warrington. Then traveling to the Highlands, spending a couple of days there. Long journey, about a 7-hour drive, and then back into the secular work side of things and the creative work. Let me know how you are and what you think. If you want to add something, if you want to suggest a topic to talk about in the future, drop in the comments. Yes, you can like. Yes, you can subscribe. Yes, you can download the music. Yes, you can share it. Comment. I'd love to know what you think about some of the things that have been shared here today. Until next time, take care. Much love to you. Keep being the amazing human being that you are. Bye-bye.